Hey y'all, and welcome back. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos, and welcome back to katesgiving. So I know this isn't an older palette, however it was launched a little while ago. I did have the brand reach out to me and ask if I would like to try it. I said yes. This is from MBA Cosmetics, the Pumpkin Kisses and Autumn Wishes palette, and I tried to figure out if I could squeeze this into October and review it in the month of October, but I just wasn't able to. I don't want to have to wait till December, so we're going to stick it into katesgiving, and I'm going to give you guys 3 looks plus my review and thoughts on the Pumpkin Kisses and Autumn Wishes palette. First off, going to put the information on the screen on how much it is and just show you guys the cover is beautifully done, a very pretty picture. I love the coloring in the palette on the cover. The title honestly is a little bit long in my opinion, Pumpkin Kisses and Autumn Wishes, but it's just the title. You got the ingredient list on the back along with the information on the longevity. It does last for 36 months it says, and then you open it up and here is the color story. It's a very beautiful color story. I remember when I initially saw it I was like, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of dimension in there, even though I love the coloring and the tones. However, after seeing it swatched out, I was like, ooh, I think I actually do like that. And there's actually 2 shades specifically that are like duochrome or multichrome. Honestly, you guys know I'm bad at telling the difference, but there's definitely a shift that I see when I was using these shades. So I was super excited to get to try it. Thank you so much to MBA Cosmetics for sending this to me. I really do appreciate it. But yeah, I created 3 looks with this palette, and I'm going to show you guys the looks just in a sped up music overlay type of style, rather quickly, nothing too long. And I'll also show you guys this palette swatched on my arms, and then we can meet back here and I can share with you guys my overall review. So with that said, we're going to hop first into the swatches and then we'll get right into all 3 of the eye looks. Okay, so let's dive into the review. Let's first talk about the shimmers. Now, there are two different types of shimmers in this palette, I feel like. There's the duochrome or multichrome, which I feel like are these two. That's the ones that I obviously see a shift on them. And they're a little bit more, not chunky at all, I don't want to give the wrong impression, but they're a little bit softer. They can almost kind of act like they could be flaky, but they're very easy to pick up with a brush. They're very easy to put on the eyes. They're very beautiful. They don't look too thick and chunky on my eyes, which I also do appreciate. And they're the type of duochrome and multichrome formula that I like. I really do like it. I can say that for sure. I really do like them. And while the shift is kind of subtle, you can definitely see it if you use just that one shade all over your lid. It is still a bit subtle, at least for me personally. I always kind of struggle to see obvious shifts, but they're still really pretty, and it's definitely that type of shift that you can notice going like from a bright room to a more dark room, or if you're turning your head and whatnot. I can definitely catch the shift, and it is very pretty and goes really well with the theme of this palette. The other formula in this shade is more like Candy Corn and Fireside. Both of them are a little bit firmer pressed. They're more of just a very nice shimmer. They're nothing too sparkly. There's no like super intense sparkliness to them, but they're very soft shimmer. They go on very nicely. They have mostly just pigment to them and a little bit of sheen on the lids as you put them on. Candy Corn was a little bit, didn't really wow me as much as I had hoped it did. I definitely built it up and got, you know, the look that I was wanting and whatnot, but I don't know, I wouldn't have minded a little bit more punch. Fireside definitely had that punch to the color. It was very easy to put on, just like Candy Corn, but it was very smooth, and it had a little bit more intensity and just, I don't know, beautifulness to the eye look, beautifulness to the shimmer. Not really sparkly, but there was a shine to it that I feel like Candy Corn was missing just a little bit. So I really did like that. Oh, and then Equinoxes also reminds me of like Fireside. Has a little bit more intensity. It's not too subtle. Beautiful inner corner highlight. Very beautiful sheen on your eyes. Very, very pretty. Both of those I really did enjoy. Candy Corn was the only one that I liked it for the color, the orange color, but as far as like how beautiful it looked on your eyes and, you know, how it kind of stood out in an eye look, that's where it was a little bit disappointing. And mostly just like I said, the color didn't pop as much as I anticipated it popping from just looking at it in the pan, and there wasn't that kind of like shine to it when you had it on your eyes. It was just a very pretty shimmer. Moving on to the mattes. The matte formula is very pigmented. They're very nice. They're pretty soft to touch. Like when you dip into them and touch them, they feel soft. There's a little bit of a dry aspect to them. They're not so soft like Ace Beauté's formula. Like when you touch into them, they're like a creaminess to them. This is a little bit more pigmented, but there's a little bit of a dryness to it when you actually touch it, but still nicely pigmented on the eyes. The color selection having these four is very pretty. I feel like it's a nice array and kind of gives me what I was hoping the Fantasy Cosmetica, the Bard palette. If you missed my review on that, I'll leave it linked up here. There were 4 colors in that as well. Different tones of these colors, but kind of the same thing, but the green in that palette did not work. So with this palette, kind of all 4 of them worked really well and kind of gave me those vibes, those autumny vibes and those autumny looks that I was looking for in that palette. I found in this palette, very happy with it. A nice amount of pigment. They're nothing too like intensely pigmented that you have to be super careful. They're nothing too saturated that you have to deal with like, you know, patching issues or, you know, blending too much or anything like that. I didn't never have any issues blending these out. I didn't have any issues building them up. They're all just really nice pigmented mattes that I enjoyed working with. They didn't like wow me, blow my socks off type of pigmented or smooth or intense with the mattes, but they were very nice mattes. And all around for this palette, you know, being in this palette, having 4 mattes to work with all these shimmers, it's a little shimmer heavy for me, but I was very pleased with the type of looks I was able to get and the amount of creativity I could get with the mattes. While it's only 4 mattes that you can work with, I felt like I was able to get different type of looks and mix and match the colors together to get really pretty autumny fall inspired eyeshadow looks. So as a whole, I'm trying to keep this review a little bit short and to the point, but as a whole, I was very pleased with this palette. It has been a long time since I've tried MBA Cosmetics, and I haven't ever tried any of their palettes, so I was very excited to see how their palettes were. I'd only ever tried their single eyeshadows in the past. I love her glitter glue. It's like a glitter adhesive serum. So good. I use it a lot, especially when I want to pat on top of my eye looks. If I want to keep the shimmer in place, I like to pat it on top because it's a clear, very liquidy formula, and it really does a great job keeping my eye looks in place. So I really love that product, and I'm glad to see that I also really enjoyed her eyeshadow palette formula. And they're coming out with a lot of palettes. After I received this, I think I saw a sneak peek of like 6 or 8 more palettes that they're launching before the end of the year, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of palettes. So I'm curious to see what kind of color stories they do. I appreciate that MBA Cosmetics has pretty fun color stories. Some of them are more neutral and whatnot, but this one's a really fun fall theme palette. And then also they did one that was like a green and yellow, I think. It was absolutely beautiful. I almost bought that one because it was so pretty, but you guys know, I'm overwhelmed with palettes, so I passed on it, but I'm super excited to be able to try this one out. I love fall tone palettes, and this is a solid one, especially if you like those more special type of shimmers. These two right here that have that duochrome aspect, it really does remind me of like like Gourmande Girls, Saints, Angels, Sinners, that type of formula when it comes to their multi-chromes and duochromes. These two, and also these two, really remind me of the formulas I find in those palettes, but these two specifically remind me of their multi-chromes and duochromes. So if you like that type of formula, I've heard Sugar Drizzle Cosmetics, I think, is similar to that. Those type of formulas, I feel like these two are very comparable and so beautiful for an autumn theme palette, so beautiful for autumn theme looks if you like a little shift to your fall looks. So yeah, that is gonna do it for this review. I hope it was helpful for you guys. I know I'm super late to giving you guys a review, but I hope at least the looks were inspiring. It was helpful to see how the palette swatched, all that sort of thing. Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, I really do appreciate you guys checking out this video, and as always, I just hope this video was helpful for you guys. So yeah, with all that said, that's gonna do it for me. Thank you guys so very much for watching. As always, I'm over on Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92 over there, and I post reels, up close eye swatches, all that sort of thing. And with all that said, I'll see you guys very soon in my next one. Bye guys.